Kindergarten mamas, I need to know if your school does this the same way and your thoughts on it, because my daughter is in kindergarten this year. She was in pre-K last year at the exact same school, and in pre-K they could go in, and if they got there they would ask them if they wanted to eat breakfast at the school. And honestly, it didn't matter if she had already eaten breakfast here. If she said yes, they would give her breakfast. But again, she'd be in the classroom and they would get it for her. They said this year she has to go get it and bring it to the classroom. So she doesn't go to the cafeteria and eat it in the cafeteria. She goes, gets it, and walks it to her classroom and eats in the classroom. So this is the first week of school. So for the first 3 days, we can walk them to school. So the first day she kind of ate here, and then we just took her to the classroom. Day 2, we're like, okay, let's walk her to get breakfast. She said she wanted to eat breakfast at school. Let's walk her in there, make sure she knows how to do it. That's a lot for a kindergartner. Now, I have a senior and a kindergartner. So when my daughter was in kindergarten, she went to the same school, and they didn't have pre-K there. So it was the first grade, and they did what they did for pre-K. So if she ate breakfast, they brought it to them in the classroom. But I guess now, because it's not the first grade at the school, it's not the youngest, they make them like go get it now. Just because you have another grade that happens to be at that school now doesn't mean that the ability of the kindergartners has changed. And my daughter has gone for an entire year eating twice, usually twice a week. She would eat school lunch. So she's been through the lunch line. This baby was so lost. She didn't realize, like, she was confused about how to get it, and that, you know, she had to get a fruit because they yell at you. I saw them yell at a kid. They were like, you have to get a fruit. Ma'am, it is day 2. And these kids is little. They don't all know that. But then once you get and you have to know your number. She doesn't know her school lunch number. She's in kindergarten. Like, they got to teach that to them, and they haven't yet, so she doesn't know it. Which we did hear some teachers talking about, like, do they have their lanyard, like, later in the hallway? And so I wonder if they should have a lanyard when they're that little and her teacher just hasn't given it to them. I don't know. That would make it easier. But she had to ask what her name was. I was there, so she said, what is her last name? I said, Padilla. Nobody knows how to spell that. She looked at me like, now my daughter knows how to spell her first name, but she would not, if somebody asked her her last name and then how to spell, she would be lost. A few kids before my daughter, there was a little girl who did not have a parent with them, and the lady, she didn't know her number. The lady asked her name, and she was like a little Asian girl, and she told her, and I wasn't like listening, but my husband was, and she said she told her name, and she's like, I'm sorry, I don't understand you. She couldn't figure out her name, so then she asked her what her teacher's name was. She tried to tell her teacher's name. She couldn't understand. We had like a whole backup of the line. She finally was like, I'll just write your name down. So I think she just didn't charge her. But she spent like a hot minute with this girl trying to figure out her name, trying to figure out her teacher's name, and she couldn't understand it. She's little. But my question is like, does your school do it this way? And am I crazy for thinking that it is a lot to ask a kindergartner to go through? And some of these kids, this is their first time at this school because they didn't go to pre-K here because they only had like 2 pre-K classes. So it's first time at their school, having to go through, know their number or give their name, spell their name, and take their tray when they have their backpacks on and walk all the way to their classroom to eat. Now, I feel like we make our kid do a lot more than some parents. Like, we've taught her how to do certain things around the house. She knows how to get her own ice and her own water and stuff like that. Like, she can get her breakfast, her snack in the morning and get it open and do that on her own. But I feel like that's asking a lot of a 5-year-old on the first week of school. Like, in my opinion, if you're going to do that, maybe set them up, get them in the classroom, take them all down there, teach them how to do it, and have them do it for several weeks with you before asking them to go down there and do it on their own. Because now I have one more day that I can take her through, and me and my husband are already like, no. She's just going to have to, like, if she wants to eat at school, like, she's going to have to just take something from here and eat in the classroom, like, already have it ready. Because the school doesn't open till 8:20. So even if you get in there, by the time you get through the door, get into the cafeteria, get your food, then you have no time to eat because you have to have it eaten by 8:45 in the classroom. Am I crazy? Like, am I underestimating their abilities? Because I feel like the only kids that knew what the hell they were doing were the taller, bigger kids. The other kids that were my kids' height had no fucking clue and were by themselves, poor little babies, or they had a parent with them. But again, we can only go for 3 days, and then she's just solo. She would just give up and not eat and just go to the classroom. I already know, like, she would be like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Or somebody would take pity on her and have to help her because she looked lost and I was there. And I told my husband when we were walking out, like, I'm a full-ass adult, and that stressed me the fuck out. Like, I'm a full adult, and that whole, like, interaction and everything that was happening made me feel anxious. So I cannot imagine being 5 and having to try to figure it out and navigate that. So even though kindergarten is their 2nd grade at this school now, because now they have a couple pre-K classes, I still think that at 5 years old, that is too soon to expect them to do that by the first week. I don't know. How's y'all school do it? If you are a kindergarten mama, like, how does your school do it? I don't agree with that being the best way. And yes, she can just eat at home, and she will. But if she wanted to eat at school, because a lot of the other kids will, and she wanted to go, I would just pay for it and let her go eat there so that she can have it at school and do that. But not now. No, not with that. Not until she obviously feels more comfortable, but it's not going to be next week.